At that moment, Shi Shao and his family were attacked by a huge spider monster that appeared out of nowhere. The young hero covers his family with his body from the monster's strike, but finds himself in a death-defying position. Suddenly, an information panel appears in front of the spider monster, and then the young hero falls into a strange dimension where he is called the Lord of Accounts. Then, around the hero flashes a bright light that illuminates the entire battlefield around him and throws aside the dangerous monster. The young hero becomes stronger several times and so begins his journey of becoming from a novice to the Lord of Accounts. The story moves back a few days, and the young protagonist's family joins him in celebrating his birthday. And Shi Shao is smiling broadly with a crown on his head, happy that today is a holiday. The young hero's sister hugs her brother tightly and asks him to tell her what wish he made. Then the young hero rubs his nose and says with a smile that he wants to live together with his family indefinitely. At that moment, a loud explosion is heard, and the entire city is quickly engulfed in flames and chaos. The young hero leans on the floor of the room and watches in horror as his family flies downward from a great height. Then a huge monster appears in front of Shi Shao and stares at him with a piercing gaze. Shi Shao screams in fear at the sight of the monster and doesn't know what to do in such a situation. At that moment, a loud shout from the young hero echoes throughout the class, and all the students turn in his direction in surprise. And the young hero is holding on to his head and trying to come to his senses after a nightmare in which he loses his entire family. At this point, the teacher points his finger in the direction of the young hero and asks him to tell about the age of the monsters. And the young hero absent-mindedly rubs the back of his head and apologizes for falling asleep during class. After that, he coughs and is about to talk about the beginning of the emergence of the Age of Monsters. However, the teacher stops the young hero and asks him to sit at his desk and listen carefully to his lecture. He then spreads his arms apart and shows a holographic map of the Earth and talks about the new age of monsters. And at this moment, Shi Shao stands silently and listens to the teacher's story despite knowing the story very well. A few hours pass, classes end, and the students leave the academy building to go about their business. Shi Shao is also heading home, but is stopped by a classmate named Luo Feng with 2 students behind him. Luo Feng comes close to the young hero and demands from him to pay for his protection. However, Shi Shao folds his arms across his chest and says that he refuses to pay Luo Feng for his safety. Immediately afterwards, Luo Feng gave a strong blow to Shi Shao's stomach, causing him to clench his teeth in unbearable pain. But after that, Luo Feng sees someone's foot heading towards his face and opens his mouth in surprise. And the young hero's sister punishes her brother's abuser without delay and delivers a serious blow to Luo Feng's head. After that, the other students look at the young hero's sister with surprise and realize that it's time for them to run away from here. And Shi Yunfei stares menacingly in the direction of her brother's abusers and demands that they get the hell out of here immediately. She then places her hands on her sides and watches as the bullies run away from her, and the young hero wipes the blood from his lips. Then, Shi Yunfei leans over to his brother and asks him to ignore the fact that he is low level compared to others. And the young hero strokes his sister on the head and thanks her for her help. Shi Shao then heads home with her sister, while the sun gradually goes behind